in the Sons of Nurgle.
Yeah.
You kind of picking, when you start off with pimple popping, and it just keeps on going up from there.
Yeah, the real turning point for me was the communal scab picking.
That was hard, but also strangely.
It almost drove me away, but when it was done,
felt great.
It's really what drew me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the first time I met Slanesh.
All right, we're going to figure out what kind of train wreck this is going to be. Hey, little nerdy, let me whisper in your ear. I might have a thing you want to hear. Warhammers. Warhammers.
Yeah, let's stop that.
Yeah, that was enough.
That was it. We nailed that.
I don't feel good about that.
No, I feel really weird about it. Hold on.
Kind of ashamed.
Let's get that going.
That made me feel better.
It makes you
just
feel
that
good.
sound.
Just that sound of
yeah.
It sound of victory.
It's like the Pornhub theme music. Like there's something on the other end that you're interested in.
Just Jesus Christ. That's how we're starting the show right now. I got a sticker on my chest and we're going with talking about that.
Well, that's better than two pasties.
Most things are.
Yep.
Me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome to Warhammered, where we give a
wave top.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm trying to get my inner Big Jim going. It's like we give a wave top level.
There you go. Of Warhammer lore and nerd culture.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
It's good times.
Or whatever the fuck we kind of feel like.
We got a fun show today.
We do have a fun show. I'm excited about it. Big Jim's not here because he's got a pregnant horse. Which
of the things to skip work, Jim.
I think the mare is almost due. And it's an old mare. So there's complications.
Siri just picked up on the pregnant horse on my watch. So here's what I found. Like, Siri, I do not want that. I want nothing that you're telling me right now. Oh, Siri, thank you for doing that again.
Do you know what's great about that excuse?
What?
Is you're just automatically going to believe it. Because
Yeah.
it's like, there's no fucking way out of all the bullshit you could have come up with on why you couldn't make it. It's like, I got to go pick up the pregnant horse. And it's like,
gotta go what?
It's like, yeah, you know what?
You're in.
I believe you. So, yeah. Anyways, so he's not here, but I'm Jazz, and that's Beer Jim.
Hey.
And, we're going to give you some mediocre explanations of Warhammer lore, or at least Warhammer lore to the best of our efforts of understanding.
Right. Yeah. It's more of a limitation, not on the information available. It's more of the limitation of us retaining the information and spitting it back out to you.
Yeah, or even reading all of it.
Or even paying attention to it.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. That we even actually had that conversation about like 15 minutes ago where we looked at each other like, fuck, are we going to have to start researching this shit now?
Cliff Notes.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, by research, I mean, like, boss research.
Yeah, we are, in
memo.
internet speak, we are the TLDR of Warhammer lore.
I love that. Yeah. But then also, we have to introduce Caitlin over there.
Yeah, that lovely voice that you heard kick in there is our lovely producer, Caitlin. Say hi, Caitlin.
Hi, everyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who is going to pseudo fact check and provide extra information for what we're doing.
Yeah, I got Wikipedia open.
So you really?
We're set. Yeah.
Good for you. Now, if we wanted wave top, that is the...
Wikipedia is the wave top. Because there is a wiki just for Warhammer, and she was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
No, I'm going to Wikipedia the Warhammer Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We even have a peanut gallery today.
Yeah.
We have a
fucking Steely Pants.
Steely Pants over here, in audience member,
yeah,
watching the show going down. So
yeah,
you're pretty good with the lore.
Yeah.
So if there's some questions we can ask
good job not talking. Look at you being a pro.
Pro status.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we do have a section here on the show where it is wave top, but 100% factual.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and that is Jim's Beer Corner. We just need to clip that and just
just shove it in.
Yep.
That just happened.
Anyways,
little bit of
I'm gonna set this down. And I'm going to switch over to
Let
that
me
because
open you a beverage,
we're going to have a little beverageino here.
Even though you do like the glasses.
Makes me all burpy.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
But it's okay.
But anyway, we're going to be talking about our newest seasonal beer, the Backyard Boogie. Second pitch is Backyard Boogie Mexican Style Lager. This is a fantastic beer. This is just like the definition of a crushable summer beer. Lawnmower beer, as Jas earlier called it. Just a really, really just damn good beer.
Yeah, it's just...
There's nothing...
Okay, so we're going to see if I'm paying attention at all.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so it's a lager because of the type of yeast
Nailed
that it's
it.
made by.
One for one.
Okay. Now, there is some history behind Mexican-style beers, and that a lot of them are actually German heritage beers.
Correct. Yes.
Because during some shenanigans that happened in Europe,
A lot of people had to move.
there was a lot of expats that went
Yeah.
to Mexico, and a lot of them had brewing expertise. 'Cause
Yeah, a lot of them have brewing expertise, and it's also not just people were like, oh, as soon as you say like expats to like Central and South America, they're thinking Nazis. Not true. Like there's a lot of good people from Germany that moved out of there.
that dipped out because like this is bullshit.
This is
and
bullshit.
I'm
We
not
need to
going to
get
get
the
drafted, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to get caught in the crossfire. And so
I need to get
I'm
the F
going to
out of
uproot
here.
everything.
And there's a lot of
and-
business owners did that too. They were just like they saw it coming, and they were like, I'm out.
And if I'm not mistaken, prior to like the heavy enforcement of the German purity laws, like every little beer house and everything, it all made booze.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody made beer.
Yeah.
Like
People made beer. Well, the German beer, the Reinheitsgebot, which is the German imperial laws, came in like 1580. So they've been around for a long.
but there
time.
isn't really a okay. So maybe I need to rephrase that.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you trying to
Because
say?
the German purity laws, there wasn't a like manufacturing restriction where it's like you
No.
have to be
No.
like a brewer, you have to have this license, you have to this, that, and the other. It was like
very little licensing. You just have to follow the law.
but it has to be that. So, which is why you don't find a whole lot of like, oh, this is banana bread grapefruit beer. The Germans are like 9. You don't get to.
This is it.
No, you get 4 things.
You
That
get-
is it.
If you can't do the 4 things, you suck.
Yeah. So that's German efficiency.
Yeah,
right
the
there.
German
That's-
efficiency. You have 4 tools. That's all you need.
That's it. You can plus or minus, but 4. No more, no less. Ratios only.
Yeah, ratio. Like,
It's all about fractions.
fraction it. Figure it out. If you can't, we'll put in a decimal point.
Yeah. So
Only with metric though.
only metric decimals.
Metric decimals. That makes sense.
If you don't think about it at all,
Yeah, exactly.
makes total sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was taken over to Mexico, and it kind of did birth a new style of
Right.
beer.
And there were 2 things that really happened that birthed this style of beer. One is that, people moving across the pond to doing that and to making that beer happen. But also even before that was Prohibition. Prohibition was a big part of the Mexican beer culture because
Had to get made somewhere.
beer had to be made.
It's where a lot of Canadian style whiskeys and stuff came from
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Because that's whiskey is
Prohibition.
very much an American and European
yeah, so
thing.
things kind of moved around because of that, these laws that were made, and it became now it's its own style of beer. It's considered international pale lager. If you were into the BJCP judging of it, because everything has to be
Oh, so like at World Cup, there isn't like a Mexican style thing.
No,
it's an international. What is it? Call
international
it?
pale lager.
International pale lager.
Yeah, is the style.
And to get the pale thing, is it just have golden color?
Yeah,
Like, is that
yeah.
the deal? Is it just?
I mean,
it has to
no,
be
no.
see-through?
It's called pale lager, but there are certain specifics it has to go through. It has to be, light straw to golden color. It has to be so many IBUs. It has to be below a certain alcohol percentage. It has to use, pale lager, that kind of stuff.
So the pale thing is quite literally like it
Color.
has to be pale in color.
Yeah, it
Like
has to be
it's-
pale in color.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually people will use Pilsner or Vienna malt with this beer. And since Mexican style lager is such a thing, there is actually a specific yeast strain of Cerevisiae Saccharomyces pastoralis.
Don't hurt yourself.
I know, right? Which is lager yeast. There's actually a very specific lager strain now that is used for Mexican lagers.
Yeah, and at some point, I'm not going to bore everybody with there, but I am interested in it.
Yeah.
And now you let me get my feet wet actually making beer, so now I'm like even more interested in all
Which
of it.
we are now positive. We are cautiously optimistic on.
What that's
The crisis.
because look, we
Before
were
it went to-
excited. We were excited day of.
Day of, and then the excitement, it was like a reverse bell curve.
Yeah.
Super excited day of, and then it went really down to a very
I remember
bottom
getting the
level.
call, and it was like,
This is not going well. This is
sorry,
not-
buddy. This,
Yeah, I felt like a doctor walking out of an operating room being like, it was touch and go.
I know we were positive when you brought it in, but
We don't know what's going to happen. God, it's in God's hands.
Yeah,
You know.
we've transferred him to the ICU in a bubble.
Yeah, and
You can look at him through the glass.
Yeah, and we're hoping the best, but we're at the end.
Yeah, but
we're
don't.
done.
Yeah,
And now we are starting. You know, we're on the uptick.
I like it.
We're on
It's
the
like a
uptick.
Grey's Anatomy episode.
It really is.
Yeah.
I prefer Doctor House, but I'm in.
I love House MD. I just wish more people would realize that's just Sherlock Holmes.
It's 100%. It's medical Sherlock Holmes, isn't it?
No, it's just Sherlock Holmes. They weren't even that clever, dude. They
What
went
do you
from
mean?
Holmes to House. It's not even buried that deep. Like, it is.
God damn it. Why, whenever
got
I
the-
get on this podcast, I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes?
And then his sidekick, who works in the office next to him, is the level-headed one that's always loaning him money and trying to
God
keep him.
Damn it.
They're both opiate addicts. Like, the lead's not even buried that deep. Like, it's just Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, you run the show for a minute. I need a minute to get like my thoughts. You say stuff. You know what? First of all, screw you, Pony Boy. I don't need you nodding at me like an uncut chia pet.
But
all right.
but as soon as somebody points it out,
Yeah,
though,
yeah, it's
you start
100%.
like just reading
listening
through, and you're
down,
just like,
and you're just like, that checks, that also checks, that also.
Matter of
God.
fact, his ex-wife, the brilliant one that always seems to be able to beat him at everything, happens to be this like really light ginger chick, like the lady in pink. Like all of it is cross-referenced to. It's all Sherlock Holmes.
I'm good. I'm glad I know that now. I'm gonna rewatch that some stuff. And
Yeah.
Just be like,
Matter of fact, his sidekick's last name is
what is it?
Dr. Wilson instead of Dr. Watson.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Look, I love
I'm
the
sorry.
show.
I just blew out the microphone there. I'm sorry, Caitlin, but fuck, man.
I love the show, but but I
God.
love the show because I like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it's like us last episode realizing about the lion sleeps tonight in the jungle, the mighty jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like God damn it, Games Workshop.
And now
you
everywhere
son of a
he
bitch.
walks, he literally makes plants.
Yeah, and it's just
So he
like,
just takes
fuck.
the jungle with him.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah. But anyways,
Well, that's Mexican lager.
uh,
I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
I don't even want to go buy some.
But anyway, Mexican lager, it's super crushable, good lawnmower beer. Backyard Boogie's going to be available in most grocery stores, HEBs here in the San Antonio area. I don't have any information on the beer to you kind of thing.
No, but and if you don't want to go to the HEB and you are local or want to make the pilgrimage, both my bar here at BattlePub Games and Second Pitch Beer Company, both in San Antonio, we will both sell it.
Yep.
So you can come to either one of us, and
Happy to sell you
we're
as
happy
much as
to
you can
wet
drink.
your whistle.
The whistle will be wet.
Yeah. So there's I've upset
I'm
Jim.
so upset. I'm so upset. If the thing wasn't like live, I would ask for 5 minutes so I can just like sit on the toilet and think.
just yeah.
Yeah, just get it.
It's so obvious.
It's so
like
obvious.
Once somebody points
as
it
soon
out.
as you said it, I'm just like, mother. And I was like, but I also was thinking to myself, like, no, it can't be that obvious. And then you're just like, nope, it's that obvious. It's just Sherlock Holmes.
The drug addicted master of Logic Path that uses everybody around him for his own gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
and all he does is solve mysteries.
And he solves medical mysteries. This one, but yeah, whatever.
Which the other one mostly is solving murders, which is
Kinda
a medical mystery.
Yeah, it was a medical mystery.
Yeah. So
who does it? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
So we're gonna get
Questioning
into
my life right now.
Are you gonna make it, buddy?
No, I don't think I am.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. We'll get
just
going.
yell at Sam about it. Be like,
do you know what I learned today? It's just like, she's going to be like, why do you care about Dr. House so much? And I'm like, I don't. I just didn't fucking know, man.
It just fucked me up. He tried to make a Grey's Anatomy joke.
I tried to do a Dr. House joke, and then he one-upped me, and I just have nothing. I know nothing now. My world is turned upside down. All right.
Still a great show.
Still a great show. Fantastic.
Still a great show.
Still a great show.
What
are we going to talk about today? What do you want to talk about?
He even plays an instrument.
He Plays
Dr. House
violin, I think.
He plays guitar.
Plays guitar. Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love
And the piano.
he plays a lot of instruments, I think. He's a genius. You have to show how he's a genius in different ways.
True.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think there's something that we have glossed over on this show. We've mentioned them, and they're bigger players and about to become, I think, even larger players in the larger narrative.
Well, even in the 40K narrative and 30K narrative, they're huge.
And we've just kind of mentioned them, but haven't really given them their due.
Right.
And we're still not going to even come close to giving you the depth, especially or the deep depth that some of them would like to give you.
Yeah.
But I think we need to talk about the Chaos Gods.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Because you don't even have to understand the timeline. So the Chaos Gods, where I'm going to preface the rest of this conversation with the fact that regardless of all the timelines we have brought up, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because
these guys have been around the entire time.
Well, and in the warp, in the realm of chaos, there is no time anyways. So
they've always existed and they've never existed at the same time.
Yeah, and everything that's happening hasn't happened. It's all has happened.
Yeah.
It is, has, was happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the warp is, the Bill and Ted going woo, or the not Bill and Ted, but Wayne's World woo.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all happening. But you have the Chaos Gods.
Yeah. There's 4 of them.
There are 4 of them, and they all have their own flavor.
Realm of Dominion, I would say, but flavor's good too.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because we'll get into that, and I'll say why I think that's weird. The realm thing. 'Cause
yeah.
They also said there was no space in the warp.
Yeah, but then
somehow
they
have
made
space.
it up.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. So it's a little weird. Anyways, they all have names. We know those names, or at least we know the names that we're able to speak.
Yeah.
Because
so
in a lot of the lore, it's like,
yeah, they're
my actual name. You
can't say.
You don't have the capacity to utter, but you can call me Bob.
Yeah. And the 4 are Korn, Nurgle, Slanesh, and Zeech. Which is already hard to say.
Yeah, and none of them are spelled the way you'd think except for Nurgle. Nurgle's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Korn is Khorne. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a different band.
It's corn.
Yeah, Korn is the whole like.
I know, but
yeah.
I just like the ooh wah.
The other one is that's Disturbed.
I think that's Disturbed.
They're the
yeah.
ooh wah people, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a voice. You ever heard him sing?
He did Sound of
Sound
Silence.
of Silence. It'll move your soul.
Yeah.
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 So
He's beautiful.
anyways, so Korn, Khorne, is also known as the Blood God.
Or the skull. Yeah.
Well, no, he has a chair,
the skull throne.
the Skull Throne,
Yeah.
and his whole battle cry is blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne.
Yes.
And he is literally he embraces
Martial death
and passion.
and passion and violence.
Yeah, and passion and violence. So all the animalistic things in living creatures, not in humans, in whatever, just
Death.
if you are a creature that likes to kind of maintain superiority through combat or
Violence or
violence or competition, or
Yep.
it is just that desire to be greater than somebody else.
And that's why he's also known as the oldest Chaos God too.
Because competition is the oldest trait in living creatures.
Yes.
So that's that whole survival of the
Yeah,
fittest.
he is
thing.
the first. He was the first one.
Yeah. So the concept of survival of the fittest is what birthed this god. So
Yeah.
to understand where chaos gods come from is that the warp is a reflection of all emotional projection that comes from all living things.
Right.
It doesn't have to be humans or like an alien that space travels or whatever. It's all living things.
Who have emotion that's reflected into the world.
Right. The reflection is in the warp. So yeah, you go define that however you want to, because that's about as much definition as we've ever gotten from
Yeah, that's what games were.
the people that
keep
wrote
it,
this shit.
They
So-
keep it very vague for a reason, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like a black hole would actually, a hole in 3 dimensions is actually a sphere. So how do you enter a sphere? Because there's no front.
The door.
There is no door. For it's a sphere.
What are you going at here? What are you doing?
That you can't accurately describe what the warp is.
No,
like
that's
it's just
true.
a
Okay.
But it's like
It's like a thing. It's
like a thing.
Yeah.
It's like we call black holes, but if it was a hole in 3 dimensions because it's traveling through space, then it's not a hole. It'd have to be a sphere because it always look round from. It's always a circle regardless of the angle you look at it because that's a sphere.
What the fuck?
I don't make up physics.
What the shit?
Ask Dr. House.
I'll ask him. I'll ask Sherlock Holmes. I'll go back to like the. I'll go back. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you.
What do you get when you pour root beer in a square glass?
Don't you fucking dare, you son of a bitch.
Just beer.
Just beer. Anyway, corn.
Yeah, so that's his whole thing. Something else that I think we need to say about the chaos, they are not inherently evil.
Right. There's a duality to each of these chaos gods.
And so, like I said, he is the god of, yes, of violence and warfare and blood for the blood god, and skulls for the skull throne, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He's also the god of competition.
Competition, courage,
Right.
martial prowess.
All of that stuff is also
Yeah.
leaned on him.
You know,
thing
physical traits, physical feats.
Most living creatures
use those physical feats to kill something.
To dominate something else.
Yeah.
And so, and that's how he pushes people's buttons too. Is it's the whole like, you want to do that.
Yeah, you want to just go to the baser instincts and keep on
yeah.
going.
And so it's very much that animalistic desire to survival of the fittest, and it's like,
Yep.
we can't argue if you're dead. Like that's kind of where he pushes it. So,
Yeah.
and all the gods are always going to operate in an extreme.
Yeah, they're extreme. They're extreme creatures.
Yeah. So there's been, we can get into some of the other stuff later, but there's been a whole legion that dedicated themselves to him, Primarch that fell to him,
Yep.
the whole 9 yards. And
Big player right now in the new 40K lore.
and the new 40K lore, we talked about him before with
Angron.
He was a Primarch, son of the Emperor.
And the World Eaters is
And the World Eaters. I mean, they named themselves the World Eaters. These guys were all about just we kill everything in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's not overly shocking that the god that collects blood and skulls was like.
But that's not the Legion he wanted though.
It's not who he was after.
He wanted the Blood Angels.
Yes,
He was 100% about those.
He also wanted the boys in yellow.
Yeah. Or we're finding out about that.
Really wanted the boys in yellow. Apparently,
We're finding out about that.
So.
Yeah, that's all happening in the new book.
The new
right
book,
now.
which we talked about, The End of the Death. So Dorn and his boys in yellow. Korn was. Ooh, he would have liked that.
He liked them all.
Yep. But honestly, all the Space Marines really do embrace what Korn's about, because Korn is also going to be your god of warfare.
And everybody, and there's always a saying like everybody worships Korn.
In some way, everybody worships Korn.
Because it's such an inherent human condition.
Which is why they say he's the OG. He was the first one to come along. That's not written anywhere. It's not proven, but it is kind of the reference of the oldest thing that has ever been worshipped has been competition.
Yeah. Competition, survival, and survival by violence.
So, and by the way, nobody really knows what any of them look like because they can look like whatever they want to. So we can't give you like a description of what this dude is. But apparently there is a chair somewhere.
Yeah, he's a giant, like, beast-looking guy with a ginormous sword sitting on a ginormous, like, skull throne.
Yeah, it's a chair made out of skulls, and every time something dies for him, another skull gets added to the pile. So it's...
Yep.
It is what it is. Who's the one that has the kill counter on his arm?
Karn.
It's Karn, right?
Yeah,
the
Karn
betrayer? He's got the kill counter?
Yeah, he's got the kill counter.
So literally he's got like like one of those
tally.
speed clickers.
Yeah.
That you like click, 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 and it just counts up. He's got that on his arm, and he follows Korn, and it's supposed to be just a...
Yeah, he's trying to get the high score.
Yeah, 100%. He's a pinball wizard.
Yeah, he's a pinball wizard.
Interesting fact about Korn.
Ooh.
Korn doesn't like to do quick deaths. He likes to let people suffer and kind of just like wait it out, which then in turn feeds Slanesh, which we will get into a little bit later to talk about Slanesh too.
I think that's actually a great transition point into so that in turn feeds Slanesh. So Slanesh, SLAA. I don't know why that's important. NESH, but 2 A's.
And Slanesh is talking about the oldest god is the very much fact is the youngest god that they have, which is he is the god of
whoa. He, she,
it.
Yeah.
It really, Slanesh,
all the pronouns.
Slanesh is not into pronouns. It's very gender fluid.
I would actually say because Slanesh is the god of excess.
And yeah, Slanesh is the god of excess.
Wants all the pronouns.
All the pronouns.
Yeah, it's not even a.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't define me. It's just like, oh no, I'm.
Yeah.
All of them.
Right.
Like, pick one.
Yeah. But Slanesh is the god of excess. So if you eat too much, drink too much.
Yeah. So.
Love too hard.
Yeah. Both physically and emotionally.
And emotionally.
I think what explains it a lot is how Slanesh came about.
Oh, great, yeah.
So there is a race that was one people called the Eldari. And before they were the Eldari, they were just called the Eldar.
Space elves.
They're space elves. Actually, before the Eldar, they were just called space elves.
Yeah.
But in the game, they've since now done all this kind of stuff. So they had a faction that was really into doing everything to the extreme.
Finding everything.
And really got into every level of debauchery that they could figure out. And for like 10,000 years, that faction existed that just got weird.
Just
like
wanted to find every type of pleasure and turned it to 1,000.
Yeah, all of it. Drugs, liquor, sex.
Yeah, everything.
Violence, like whatever it was.
Anything that can make you feel happy, they did it too much.
And take it way beyond the whole like.
I'm good. Yeah.
No, just the
worst crack addict you can ever imagine.
And slow too. Like none of it was a big. It was just like a grab it and just ride it for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah. Slanesh for me is the like grossest chaos.
So it's the god of butt stuff.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like you also hear like some of his followers and stuff they do with like torture and things like that.
Yeah, well,
and it gets hard. Like, it gets really hard. Like when you talk about,
all of it is done for the point of pleasure. So it's the whole like if you're into like a little bit of like that like kind of out there kinky stuff, it's like cool. But we're gonna do that to the point of like
weirdness. Yeah.
We're gonna flay all your skin off while we're at it because
it's Hellraiser. It's very similar to Hellraiser.
It's very Hellraiser-y.
Very Hellraiser, which has always just been a very like weird like thing. Like the one story that I've ever heard of like Slanesh followers that really just kind of messed me up. Like just thinking about it because that's the one that like I don't know I can't get behind. I just like it's extremely grimdark. Like people like this 40K has always been about the grimdark. And I think Slanesh takes that, and the idea of Slanesh allows people to take that to like 1,000 and to get into really heinous shit.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Slanesh is, and it's supposed to be all of that stuff where it's like you having a drink or two is fine. The Slanesh level of it is like even alcoholics are going like,
dude, bro,
what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's so far beyond even the realm of what we know as like this is just indulgence beyond the understanding. There was an entire race of people
that are still around.
Took it to that point and generated so much of this energy that they birthed a god.
Yeah,
dedicated to this. Like
it's like when you get people who I'm like, I've always been like, oh, people who are really into 40K, and they're like, yeah, I love like Slanesh and the Emperor's Children. And you're just like, ugh. Yeah,
Caitlin, what's your god and army of choice?
Slanesh.
Yeah, I know. I'm always a little weary of.
They have
Caitlin.
the coolest models.
I'm just every time I look at Caitlin, I'm just like, ugh.
I'm not gonna lie, Slanesh models are very, very.
She
cool.
likes crab arms on one side.
But what's interesting though is when in lore, when you look at a demonette. You don't see the crab arms and the one boob and all that stuff. You see the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life until it's too late. So they lure people in and then just go at them.
Yeah, they all have.
No, 100%.
All of their stuff have this like it's like a siren song ability. to where what you see is so intoxicating to your vision that you can't help but be attracted to it.
Yeah.
And then by the time they drop that kind of spell,
Glamour
it's too late.
or whatever.
And you're either completely addicted or it's too late to fight
go
out
back.
or whatever. It doesn't matter anyway.
It's basically it's any kind of drug addict's like recovery story.
Except for nobody recovers. Nobody comes back from
but
Slaanesh. Like
you don't recover. But if you listen to it like in like the real world that we live in, people would be like, it was so great, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, oh fuck.
So here, I'll give you a tiny lore story before we talk about another one, and now you can see why people that follow Khorne also feed Slaanesh, because Khorne doesn't kill anything quickly, so it's taking that to that excess level, and that's why it feeds Slaanesh. But there was a character in Slaanesh's court called the Mask, and it was supposed to be an entertainer in Slaanesh's, because Slaanesh keeps this circus type court that just entertains and all this kind of stuff, and it was supposed to dance this dance that was supposed to be the most seductive dance that ever existed, and blah 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 blah.
Cool, yeah.
Well, it disappointed Slaanesh.
Okay.
So the Mask was banned from the court and banned to essentially twerk for eternity until she got so good at it that she could be allowed back into the court.
You got to go practice your twerk.
Like, that's... I mean, that's the Cliff Notes version, but we
Yeah,
wave top
right. Yeah, we're
so,
wave topping it.
Yeah, so...
I'm like, but you're also hearing about like people who like Emperor's Children that follow Slaanesh that just do heinous things to just people just because they feel like it.
Yeah, but that was... But the Emperor's Children and Fulgrim, that's what that was all about. That was art to the point of...
Yeah.
Art to the point of...
opulence and disgust.
And apparently, you know, the artists that they had worked from would work and work and work until they could bring people to tears with it. Like, it was... and that was their whole thing with even their combat was...
perfection.
Did we make a mistake? We're going to do it again until it's perfect. It's everything to its maximum. It's... Everything gets dialed to 11, and so you see why it was so easy for them to.
Like there's a story of like one Emperor Children who had like found these two identical twins, and just for fun, like cut off both of their arms, and gouged out both of their eyes, and then one set was blind, and the other one had his tongue pulled out, so they can never talk to each other, and knew each other were around each other. I'm like, that is just like so fucking twisted and wrong. It's not even funny.
Well, I mean, there's other ones about like artists. They weren't even Space Marines.
Yeah, just
but
people,
they were artists that were involved with the Emperor's Children, and the only way that they could get the depth of color they needed for their painting was to start ritualistically sacrificing humans to use their blood and other fluids to make the paint they needed for the color that they needed for the painting. Like it's
wrong. It gets
out
wrong.
there. Yeah. And it's
Slaanesh,
really out
like
there.
of everything. Like I love the 40K lore. I love everything. And then when you get deep into Slaanesh,
out of the gods,
back away slowly.
Out of the gods, you can definitely tell Slaanesh was the one that they were like, okay, we make a war game. We've got a god that's just into just fucking violence. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're going to get into the other ones, but Slaanesh, they were like, how do we get that one where people just go, what the fuck?
Man, yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
So when Slaanesh was birthed, right, they destroyed all the Eldari that were around, right, in the Imperium. She just absorbed all of them.
Ate them. Yeah.
Some of the Eldari gods survived by just deucing out into the warp. They're like, bye, like the laughing god and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the most interesting one is their fertility god, Isha or Aisha. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
Ponyboy,
she
you're
wasn't
a nerd. You got anything on that? The fertility god? Aisha? Yisha?
Aisha?
It's Yisha, I think, isn't it?
Yisha?
I think it's Yiisha. Yisha?
So she was defeated, but wasn't like obliterated like everybody else was. And so the purpose of that was that Slaanesh was going to take Isha as a prisoner and slowly absorb power out of her. But you know who said no and stepped in, and nobody knows why?
Nurgle.
My boy, Great Daddy Nurgle.
Oh my God, Caitlin, are you just like figuring out like places where we can just transfer over to different
I know, because that's perfect.
Is what you're doing? God, look at you producing the shit out of this.
Yisha now lives in Nurgle's garden.
next to the cauldron.
Yep, right next to the cauldron. So
Nurgle,
also known as Granddaddy Nurgle,
and I want to say this is the comic relief of the Chaos Gods.
Yes, and arguably the most balanced.
And the one you can kind of look at and you're like, it's fucked up. Not the worst I've ever seen.
It's also necessary.
Yeah.
So Nurgle like I play Death Guard. I play Death Guard in 30K. I play Death Guard in 40K.
Yeah. People who just play Death Guard. Like that's just like their jam.
I almost started a Nurgle army for AOS, but at some point I just had to go like I've got enough. Like I just don't need to do anymore. I am a Nurgle fan.
Okay.
The reason I'm a Nurgle fan is that he makes the most sense. So he is a chaos god.
He is the chaos god of disease, pestilence.
But at the same time, it's because you cannot define new life
without
death. So
he's the god of rot, and because if things rot down, that creates more nutrient for the soil. Things to grow.
So
it's kind of that regenerative life kind of thing.
So he creates new diseases and new plagues and new rot and new all this stuff because things have to die for things to come back and grow.
Circle of life. Nailed it.
Yeah, that felt good. I liked it.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
So I'm a big fan. Plus, you get Nurglings, which are just adorable.
I love how in like the lore they actually talk about Nurglings. How if you're under the power of Nurgle, you think they're adorable, and as soon as you like stop like listening to Nurgle, they're like, oh my god, that thing's disgusting. Yeah, I like how that's like an actual lore like point.
Now, what is it? The doggies, the little plague puppies or whatever.
Plague puppies.
Yeah, so there's like in the lore, there's these little like plague puppies, and all they really want is that when they're puppies. Or when they're like these little baby things, and they're super cute, all they really want is be loved.
Mm-hmm.
But because they're part of Nurgle, nobody will love them, and that's what grows into great unclean ones.
Aww.
It's because like they just embrace all of this stuff. So like that's
so
the
fucking
story.
sad.
Essentially they're like swamp
rats.
dogs.
No, they're like swamp puppies.
But they want love, but people think they're trying to kill them.
Yeah, because
everyone attacks them.
All they
want
to do is like they just want to be pet and loved.
And so they get turned evil because people
and
like.
so they keep being rejected, so they turn into great unclean.
It's like Frankenstein's monster kind of
thing.
They
just want to be loved, but nobody will
and...
pet the plague puppies, so they turn into greater demons.
I love it. It's our own goddamn fault.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so Nurgle makes the most sense. And
yes, he did step in and saved Yisha because he viewed Yisha, in my opinion, as his counterpart.
Yeah.
She was the god of fertility and
he's
new
also
life
apparently in love with her too.
Is very much in love with her.
Yeah.
And but saved her because it was the whole you're my counterpart. Yeah. I was made to create ways for things to die and pass. And you were made for new life to come about.
Yeah, it's
so
same coin.
It's the yin and yang.
Same coin,
thing.
different side.
Yeah.
Also, on that note, Nurgle uses his contagion experiments against her to figure out like new diseases, but she regenerates so quickly that she never actually dies.
Yeah.
So there's that dark element to it too.
Well, he's got a job to do. I'm just saying.
Like, you get hired.
But yes, his realm that he's created is what's known as Nurgle's Garden. And apparently it's like, if you've ever heard of that, the world's most poisonous garden or whatever that's in England, like everything in it is lethal. Yeah. It's like Nightshade and like all this shit.
I've always, whenever people say like, oh, it's Nurgle's Garden, I think of like a deep Louisiana, like swamp, like old estate that has been gone into disrepair. You know, there's vines and there's high weeds and there's just weird shit.
I can see that.
Like that.
I also see it with trees made out of meat.
Okay, no, I take away the meat trees. But that's whenever somebody says like Nurgle's Garden, I think of that like overgrown kind of like
and it's
like
all
deep
growing and it's all organic, but nothing will make sense either.
Nothing makes sense and it's gross and it's just
yeah. So like, I think of it as like that. Like that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where he has to go see what is it? The second one where he gets the black spot and has to go see the chick in the swamp, and they're going through and like everything's super overgrown and da da da.
Yeah.
So you take that,
Mm-hmm.
but that in like Alice in Wonderland,
Right.
and that's how I view like Nurgle's Garden. Where
Yeah.
it's like none of this
Makes any fucking sense.
makes any sense,
And
but it's all for some reason recognizable.
But it's also it's one of those places where if you go in there like, oh, that's a nice tree, and then you look closer and you're like, oh, that's not a nice tree.
Yeah, that tree's staring at me,
That
and
tree's not a nice tree.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, that's a nice flower. That's not a nice flower.
That's not even
a
a
bad
flower. Yeah, that's
yeah.
yes.
That's a
Why
finger.
Why does that tree have claws?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's both sides, but they really flesh it out where it's just like, yeah,
But
Nurgle causes a
apparently
lot of diseases.
He
and
chills
stuff.
next to this cauldron
And he
that
makes-
is just massive,
yeah.
and he just keeps throwing different disease parts
Mhm.
and everything necessary into this cauldron to make new and horrible diseases.
Yeah.
Some of which he never even like releases. He's
Yeah.
just it's like the CDC.
Yeah.
Just-
he cryogenizes
Just
it.
making diseases just so that we can
throwing-
figure out if they work or not. It's
Yeah.
like, why? And it's like, well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, we have nothing else to do. We have a lot of budget.
Yeah.
We got a good budget. We got to use it.
And then he goes and he just all over Yisha's face, neck, and chest, and then she just
She figures it out.
yeah,
Just wonders about her life.
yeah, just not in my hair.
No. Nope.
Don't glue things to me.
Nope. Nope. Moving on.
Moving on. So I believe that covers 3 of the 4 of the Chaos Gods.
And then we have the redheaded stepchild. Go. Well, you were about to come in on this one,
Yeah,
Caitlin.
you got a transition.
You got a transition?
I was trying to think of a really good transition.
I got you. Ready?
But I have it.
Oh, okay.
So Yisha, I also forgot to mention, whispers cures into the warp that goes out to the universe. So we know her fate, but you know who is the king of fate?
Oh, nice.
Ooh, I like that one.
That was smooth.
Zeech.
Thank you.
I was gonna hit it with like, now it's time to go over from one subject to the other, so we need to change
And it's the changeling god.
over to the God of Change.
God
Oh,
of
that's a
is
good one
Zeech.
too.
It's a good one.
But both solid, equally solid, I think. So Zeech, TZEENZTCH.
TZEEN.
What? You can speak. My mic can't hear you,
TCH.
motherfucker. Like I don't speak mime. That's literally what I just said. That should be 2 Z's.
There's so many Z's in this name.
Yeah.
Only one Z.
No, it was like
But-
7 Z's.
Nope.
4 L's, seven E's, and a T.
And an umlaut.
And an umlaut.
That's
Thank you.
invisible.
I forgot that.
It's a silent umlaut.
Umlaut, and there's a B in there as well.
And one time I saw
Like
it
a
spelled
living
with
bee, not
one time I
a
saw it
letter.
spelled with Princess symbol in it. Like it was
Crazy.
Yeah.
It changes
it changes all the time.
every time.
But yeah, Zeech is the god of change.
God of change.
Um
Sorcery, witchcraft, trickery.
trickery.
Yeah, I said chicory. Like
Chicory, like the coffee.
like a coffee. Like he's a god of coffee. Makes a good cup of joe.
I'm not gonna lie, I know fuck all about Zeech. I know he likes things with a lot of arms.
Yeah, he's big into arms. He's big into changing.
He's big into changing. I know everything.
Well, he's kind of he's duality as well. He is the idea of changing. He's the god. He's a trickster. He's god of underhanded deals. He's the god of
He's the god of it's not what it looks like.
not what it looks like.
Yeah.
But he's also the god of knowledge.
Sure.
Like if you go after knowledge and you think about and he wants you to learn, and learning really and becoming high academic leads to Zeech. Because there's like got a smugness almost to him.
Yeah, he's kind of the whole like
I'm better than you. I'm
an
smarter
elitist
than you.
thing kind of
Yeah.
going on.
But he's also the god of like wordplay. He's like he's the god of that
He's
dickhead lawyer.
He's that guy.
He's that fucking everybody knows that guy. But no, I didn't say that. But what about this? He's the Fox News of gods.
Right. Look, we have to look at this contextually.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, I
He's
know
that
we're talking
fucking
about this,
guy.
but what about this thing that you did way back when? What about that? And it's just like, who the fuck's talking about that, man?
Yeah. God of gaslighting.
God of gaslighting. He's the gaslight god.
It's a fucking
So would you say that Zeech is the Sherlock Holmes of 40K then?
no.
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 Trickery, uses everyone against each other for his own
Sherlock
ambition.
Holmes doesn't do a lot of trickery. He's very straightforward about his stuff. He also, because he doesn't need to.
He's logic.
He just uses the logic path to follow it all out. Sherlock Holmes, if we're going back to this.
Oh, God.
Sherlock Holmes of the 40K universe.
The Emperor?
Malcador the Sigillite.
Yeah, there he is, my boy.
Malcador the Sigillite, Sherlock Holmes of the 40K universe. I would 100% do the research and do a whole episode on Malcador the Sigillite.
Oh my God, can we do that next episode?
Sure.
I love it. I want that. I want next episode we're talking about Perpetuals and Malcador.
Which you kind of both just said the same thing.
Right?
I'm here for it.
I know.
I like it.
I did.
I like it.
I did.
I like it. I've never been a big Zinch fan.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some people that are like, oh, but I'm like, I think he's kind of boring.
So yeah, with Nurgle, kind of going back to Nurgle because we're going to talk about this. Mortarion and the Death Guard are their army in Primarch that he did. Zeech, Magnus the Red, and Thousand Sons.
Because, and it's because Magnus has been so plugged into quote unquote sorcery. So his chapter very much can tap into the warp. The chapter before he got there had that whole flesh change problem that they were having, and
the changers, but also it's knowledge based. Like they
but
were
and they had the huge libraries. They wrote down more knowledge.
They wanted to know more and more and more and more and more.
Right,
and were never enough. You could never know enough.
But their cockiness also led to their downfall.
Their cockiness
because they always thought that they were going to be right because they knew more than anybody else.
Yeah, and they could figure they could sneak around people because they knew more. They could wordplay. They can trick. They can.
And so I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the Zinch or the Zinch storyline. Then again, I've also never been a big Thousand Sons fan. I think Magnus is kind of a dick.
He is an asshole.
I do think in 10th edition they're going to be a fucking nightmare because Psychic phase is just now part of the combat phase. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah, it's a different discussion.
So. Yeah, those are like the 4 big players. Now, they also have these lovely things called greater demons that hang out with them and demon princes.
Yeah.
And their greater demons all have names.
Right.
So Khorne has
Bloodletters.
No,
Bloodletters.
Bloodletter's the unnamed one. It's just a blood letter.
Yeah.
But then there's a named. So like then there's those among the greater demons that are.
Oh God.
They carry names and they're like even better.
What is it? Okay, go.
So the blood letter is go Pony Boy go.
I know Zeech is the Lord of Change.
Yeah, Lord of Change is his.
Bloodthirster.
Bloodthirster, yeah.
But that's not the named one. So like, for example, Slaanesh has the Keeper of Secrets.
Yep.
But the Keeper of Secrets, greater demon that has accomplished so much that we know his name, is Shalaxi Hellbane.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a proper name for that. So there's greater demons that also are, Be'lakor. Okay, Be'lakor is actually an interesting topic. So Be'lakor is the first greater demon to ever receive the blessings of all 4 gods.
Right.
So like all of them are like, you're kind of fucking awesome. How about I sprinkle a little bit of me on you, too?
You got a gold star from everyone in this room. Look at you. Look at you know what it is. He's the Pony Boy of Demons.
He's the Pony Boy of Demons.
Karhar the Undefeatable.
Who?
Karhar the Undefeatable.
Karhar the Undefeatable. Then you have the Great Unclean Ones, which are the big
fatties. Yeah.
That can move around. And
there's one that's like a
Gorgut?
Gorgok. Yeah, I think it is.
There's a named Great Unclean one that's super famous, and I think it's Gorgut.
Yeah. He's basically he's in charge of his own cauldron.
Yeah, that's how much work he's done.
Yeah, he has a cauldron that he can just make diseases.
And then Lord of Change is the greater demon, but then there's a named version of the Lord of Change.
Well, what about Slaanesh?
That's Shalaxi Hellbane.
Slaanesh is...
So the Keeper of Secrets is the greater demon. And those are the ones that's like one tit, 2 claw hands, secondary hands with whips and chains,
making you wonder about your sexuality.
Yeah, and then but the named one is Shalaxi Hellbane.
Shalaxi Hellbane, cool.
And they've got like the Spear of Destiny and
yeah, he does.
And the whip and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What? There you go.
Fate
Pharaoh's
Weaver.
Fate Weaver.
Yeah.
And what's cool is that actually translates into the gameplay.
Yeah. You can
So
bring those
if
guys
you-
out on the table.
If you go get one of the kits for the greater demons and flip them over, all of them can be built as their named counterpart.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's always
cool.
really fun.
So, that's the that is a very wave top level of
You
the
can
gods.
go into these guys and go down and high five. And figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and there's whole books written about each one of them.
Yeah,
there's whole books written about the legions that follow them. There's like
if you want to get
tons
into
of lore about the
chaos, there
gods.
is a ton of chaos, and then there's also chaos undivided too, where people are just like, I worship chaos
which
no
is
matter what.
like the Black Legion, which is kind of what happened to most of Horus's boys. They all became
they all became that.
Well, because Horus was chaos undivided. There wasn't one god that was whispering to him.
patron.
It was all of them.
It was all of them at the same time.
Also, these gods are where the Emperor stole his knowledge from to make the Primarchs.
Right? So that's
Which
a
is
whole
why a
different
lot
ball
of
game.
this whole multi-dimensional war is going in, is that he didn't pay the cost to be the boss. He went and stole some knowledge. And
Yeah, he did the whole, who is it, Prometheus? Stole fire from the gods?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to go more Rumpelstiltskin, but
No, I was going to go more classical knowledge
I like it.
because I'm smart.
Mm-hmm.
Read a book called Prometheus.
What's the square root of root beer?
Beer. So the Emperor did the whole Prometheus thing. Stole fire from the gods and gave it to mankind, and that was like,
And except for he didn't even
Primarchs.
share it. He went and stole it and was like, I'm gonna make my own boys.
which would then go liberate mankind. Meh. Meh.
That's arguable.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's the whole 40K thing.
Sure.
That's like pretty much the underlying theme.
That's like
of the entire fucking thing.
Steve Jobs gave us iPhones.
Nope, we're not doing this right now. We're not going into this little pit that you found us in. Nope. No.
House empty.
Fucking house. God damn it. All right, moving on. I think we did Chaos Gods.
You and I did a thing
Fuck, we had a great
over the
thing.
weekend.
We had a
It
great
was
thing.
awesome, and I needed it. I
needed that too.
that was like
so
a
bad.
2-hour vacation.
It was wonderful.
We did a thing over the weekend, and it was not each other.
Nope, not.
It wasn't.
Nope.
It was good, clean family
It
fun.
was,
I might have
family.
taken that too far.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was good.
It was good.
I don't know if we can throw clean in there.
Or families.
There was
There's
a
a family
family
in
in
it.
the movie.
There was a family in the movie. It became a smaller family.
Yeah. Technically, there was 2.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we saw Cocaine fucking Bear.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
So we decided it would be a great idea to meet up at my place,
Yep.
and,
eat tacos.
eat tacos, drink beer, and watch Cocaine Bear.
Not any beer. PBR.
PBR. It's got a blue ribbon.
Yeah, we had to. Fuck you, Caitlin.
I didn't. I said fucking nothing.
Yeah.
I
So
just said
we
it's
were
got a
over
blue
there,
ribbon.
and we were talking about this beer, and she was, and how did it come up? Where
I
it
was like, Peter, and you were like, oh shit, beer, and I was like, it won a blue ribbon.
and then Caitlin out of left field slaps me in the face and says, like, "Have you ever won a blue ribbon?" And I just sat there for like a good 30 seconds, just
God.
like, "Fuck you, Caitlin."
It hit so fucking hard, I fell off the couch.
Yeah,
Like,
it just
was,
hurt. It hurt everyone.
Wow.
It was so mean, so mean.
Just
Caitlin, it was
wow.
terrible.
But
My proudest
so
moment.
we
But
drank
that was a funny moment.
So we drank a case of PBR
Mm-hmm.
and ate tacos
And watch Cocaine
and
Bear.
watched Cocaine Bear. And I have to admit,
Great fucking movie.
oh my god! So it was like $20 to rent it on Amazon. It wasn't even like one of the
Worth
like
it.
$5 rentals. It was $20 to rent it on Amazon, and it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
Because when you're 15 minutes into the movie, and you watch a 12-year-old girl take a mouthful of cocaine off a switchblade, you're just like, well, we're here for a ride, huh? Like, this
Yeah.
is just...
Not even a 12-year-old girl, like a 12-year-old girl, and then her 12-year-old buddy.
Yeah.
Just taking a mouthful of cocaine. 'cause
How
they
much do I
don't
use?
know.
I don't know. Like a
tablespoon.
tablespoon? Like, what the fuck?
Really, when the first like curveball this movie threw at me was during the credits when we were all of a sudden like, oh, Cocaine Bear, here it is, directed by Elizabeth Banks, and we were just like, what the fuck?
Pitch Perfect chick?
Pitch Perfect 2?
Yeah.
I'm like, I like that movie. It was great.
All
But
right.
Cocaine Bear we're going with.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was fantastic.
top to bottom, entertaining. Wasn't a dull moment in it. There wasn't a character that I would have pulled out.
Nope. Perfect.
The entire, like, every scene
was
just
Well
the
done.
pinnacle of entertainment.
It was Citizen Kane with cocaine and bears.
You know what? I'm gonna say movie of the year.
Movie of the year.
I'm gonna go with movie of the year.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, it was so good. Like, I'm still thinking about it.
Cocaine Bear has set the bar for me. Every other movie I see this year
Yeah.
will be measured against Cocaine Bear.
The next movie I have to see is the D&D movie, though,
I
because
finally-
we had a review from one of your friends. That was,
Yeah, and I did, which is it was a bold statement, and I definitely want to see the D&D movie, because I hope I'm wrong, and I really don't want to give D&D any money,
but
I really want to see this movie.
yeah, but that's nerd culture. Never spending any money on this until something new.
Well,
drops.
I don't know. I feel like the studio has already paid Wizards the rights to use the D&D name, so now I'm just paying the studio.
yeah,
That's how I'm getting around it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
loophole.
yeah,
I am not buying Wizards of the Coast products.
yeah. You're
I
buying.
am buying a Paramount movie.
Is it Paramount that does
It's Paramount that did it, which trust me makes me kind of want to hold out because I'm thinking probably in 2 weeks it's going to be on Paramount Plus, and I subscribe to that. So I'm like,
it? Yeah,
"Uh."
yeah. Hold out for as long as you can.
I just kind of want to hold out and see if I can't just watch it for the money I'm already spending.
Right.
Which is
But yeah, Cocaine Bear,
Cocaine Bear was outstanding.
Ray Liotta, Kerry Russell, 2 children I've never seen before.
Who
That-
did great.
Who did great. They were
Great
fucking
actors,
hilarious.
especially Henry. Big fan of Henry.
Big fan of Henry. Henry was funny. I don't know. I always do cocaine. I've done cocaine before. How much do you do? About a tablespoon?
I
How
do
you-
cocaine on Sundays after church.
How
You're
much-
12.
How much cocaine do you do? I don't know, about a tablespoon. And then you just like, there's a part where they find a brick of cocaine. They switch it over. They cut open with a switchblade, and he just like sticks the knife in. And you're thinking it's going to be like that, like hardcore tough guy bump kind of thing that you've seen off of like a knife point, you know, from every gangster movie. And he just like digs in and pulls out like just like a heaping scoop of powdered sugar on this knife.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, is he going to hoover the shit out of that? And then he just looks at it, looks at the camera, just bites the knife
Yep.
and just
And then
takes it into his
spits it
mouth.
out and goes, "This is way worse than the stuff I usually do."
It had ice chip in it.
What?
Oh,
yeah, Ice
Chip?
Chip. O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son.
Ice Chip.
Ice Chip, which they were really impressed that I knew who he was.
Dude, because I was like, because it's like that back shot. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, is Ice Cube in this movie? And it comes around, he's like, no, that's Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. And I was like, how the fuck do you. What?
Yeah, how do you
I
know
didn't know
that?
Ice Cube's name was O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah,
Like,
nor did I know he had a junior.
yeah. And apparently, it's a good actor on
He's a
top
great
of it.
actor.
Yeah, he was fucking
He was
really
in
good.
Den of Thieves.
So
Really good
Yeah.
movie. Who else was in there? And then the late departed Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta, who,
Just coming in with a fastball.
oh man, it's such a shitbag too in
Such
that
a
movie.
great shitbag.
Oh, it was great.
Great
Perfect
shitbag.
shitbag.
Great shitbag. And then there was I don't know who was the okay, so it's O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Chip, and then who was the other bad guy that like went through like his wife
Oh,
dying?
the son.
The son.
Yeah.
What was his, because he's a guy.
And let's not forget that this started with 2 Swedish hippies. The whole movie starts with 2 Swedish hippies on a hike,
One
and
of them-
it's the angry ginger from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was like, what the?
Yeah,
what is
this?
happening here?
And we were just talking about like how many good, and then it was the shit guy from fucking
yeah, the one that rails against working at IKEA.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about the black cop, the one that goes shit.
Oh yeah.
What's it? What's he from?
I don't know.
No.
It literally, as soon as somebody says it, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's one of the greatest. The Wire.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's from The Wire.
he's from The Wire.
Yeah, I mean there was like legitimately great actors
And
in
then
this.
the 2 medics in the ambulance, one of them is TikTok famous
yeah,
for railing against working at IKEA.
which is like if you ever watch them, they're fucking hilarious.
He's in that. And then the other one, the Asian chick, is a stand-up comedian.
Is she really?
Yeah.
They were both hilarious.
Who does really funny work. Like,
Really?
yeah. Like, this thing was
Whoever was
stacked
the
with
casting
talent.
director was just fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Just up and down, just
super good.
Never gonna should retire because you're not gonna get better than that.
And I'm not gonna lie, it is 100% predictable, and you are not disappointed at all by the fact that you predict everything that's gonna happen.
It's like you can only see a CGI. You can see a CGI bear do a rail of cocaine off of a guy's dismembered leg.
Yep.
So many times. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
Awesome.
Just straight up, just hoovering somebody.
It's like cocaine Christmas.
It's like cocaine Christmas. Just throwing bricks of cocaine at this bear. And then you find out the bear is a female. Good. And then you find out the bear has cubs who are also addicted to cocaine.
I can't wait for the sequel.
This bear's a female. How do you know? Its vagina is on my ear.
Or what did you say? It was $35 million, right?
The budget on it was like $35 million.
I checked that night after you told me that. It has made 68.
Good.
God bless it.
You know what, Hollywood?
Good job.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
This is what we need. I don't need Avengers Chapter 27. I need Cocaine
horror.
Bear.
Yeah, I need Cocaine Bear. I need Cocaine Bear made for $35 million.
Yeah.
And then make 68 and everyone goes on happy.
Stop making $500 million movies and you make 20 of these.
Actually, it's been updated.
Oh.
So the budget was 30 to 35 million.
Okay.
As of today on Wikipedia.
Okay.
The box office numbers are 84.6 million.
And that's box office. Because keep in mind, this thing's on Amazon. And there's a bunch of people like us that drop 20 bones to watch it at home.
Well, that was the whole thing. It's just like, hey, we're going to put this probably in a theater for like a week and a half. And we're going straight to the internet.
And it's still in theaters.
It's still in theaters.
Like
and
you
we're
can
gonna
still go see it at theater, or you can sit at home and watch it.
And we're going to put it on the internet, and we're going to have a bunch of drunk idiots who do podcasts about Warhammer.
And they're going to talk about it.
And they're going to talk about it.
And then those idiots that listen to that show, they're going to go spend $20.
Those 7 people who listen to us
they're going to go watch it.
They're going to go watch it. It's exponential.
Yeah.
It's money making money,
I mean,
baby.
at this point, they've
money making money.
3x'd their money.
Yeah, right there.
Worth it.
Wow.
And it couldn't have taken them but 14 days to make that movie.
Mm-hmm. How long do you think it took? Like, you're actually in our tour, like...
So, oh God, don't say that. I did go to film school.
Yeah, you went film school. Like, you know this business.
Legitimately?
Yeah, you know this business better than I do.
If that thing had longer than a 6-week production schedule, I am shocked.
Really? So
I
it's a
think
month and a half.
most of the work
probably like a month.
Was post work to do the bear.
Okay, so how much time do you think was filming? Like, do you think it was... Oh, I think Caitlin might have an answer from that coming from left field.
I bet you production time on it, filming, less than 6 weeks. Cameras actually rolling, less than 6 weeks.
According to my awesome source of Wikipedia again.
Great.
Wikipedia, you can sponsor us if you want.
Oh my God.
They're free.
Wait, has Wikipedia ever sponsored a podcast?
Principal photography took place in County Wicklow, Ireland between August 20th and October 17th of 2021.
Wait a minute. Come back.
August 20th and October 17th. That's 6 weeks.
Where was this
in
filmed?
Ireland.
It's filmed in Ireland.
So wait a minute. So the casting director went to these famous actors and was like, dude, I got a movie called Cocaine Bear. Don't worry about what it's called. You're going to die pretty quick. And so we're going to be like, hey, you have to work for a week. We're going to pay you to go to fucking Ireland.
Yeah.
To
show up
for 3 days. 4 days. 3-4 days.
Because you're going to die.
Because every character died in there at a different time.
No.
Most.
5 people made it.
5 people made it, yeah. And we'll tell you which 5. It's Gary Russell. But you don't need to know that.
Felicity totally made it.
Yeah. Felicity made it. She nailed it.
Can't kill Felicity.
But like basically they came in and they sold a vacation. They sold these guys vacations. Like where they're like, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is like, dude,
those dates you just kicked out. That is a 6-week principal photography.
Really? That's awesome.
6 weeks.
You want 2 weeks in Ireland? Done. Do you have night shoots? No.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Whole movie's in broad daylight.
Yeah. No night shoots. Day shoots.
So by the way, it is a comedy horror erotic film.
Where was the
according to
erotic?
the description. I never saw the erotic.
I never saw any erotic. Unless
a bare vagina on your face.
Could be considered erotic. Ironic or erotic or erotic?
It's erotic.
Erotic.
But erotic, I think, is probably erotic irony.
That's for next episode.
That is for next episode.
That's for next episode.
All I know is
anyway, Cocaine Bear is fantastic.
If a Primark had seen this movie and told me it was awesome, then Russ would be right.
Russ would have been the one that saw it, and Russ would have been like on this podcast being like, dude, bro, really good movies.
Really good movie.
Really good movie.
And he'd have been right.
Good. He would have been right.
He'd have been
Russ
right.
would have been right.
But
And that's that.
yeah. In loving memory of Ray Liotta.
Oh my God!
Way to go out,
That
buddy.
was the best part.
Yeah.
Is I knew it was coming. The end of movie. In loving memory of Ray Liotta, and I was like, God bless you.
So good. Way to go out, buddy.
Way to go out.
Way to go out.
Way to go out on a
Anyways, games, drinks, and hijinks is what we're all about around here.
Yep.
Second Pitch Beer Company. Go
BattlePub
find it
games.
wherever you can. And
I gotta pee.
yeah, me too. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Yep.
Get all those buttons. Go answer the questions down below. I know it just says what'd you think of this episode, but leave us a cool comment and reviews.
Reviews.
Reviews are gonna go a long way for us, so we appreciate that shit. So
Do what you can.
go and do that, and go see
Cocaine
Bear because my name is Henry and I'm fucking tired.
I love it. Oh my